Hi, my name is Kimber Gandy, and this is my presentation on SDG 13 in Sweden. The UN Sustainable Development Goals are a universal call to action by all countries in the United Nations. There are 17 interconnected goals that focus on environmental, social, and economic issues. SDG 13 focuses on climate resilience, policy integration, education and awareness, climate financing, and capacity building. For governments and businesses, this involves transitioning to clean energy, lowering emissions, and following a carbon education framework. For individuals, this involves making sustainable choices daily, which can look like reducing energy use, conserving water, or taking public transit as opposed to commuting. Some universal challenges of SDG 13 include rising greenhouse gas emissions, monetary issues with funding, poor policy implementation, and socio-political struggles. We're seeing Sweden struggle with achieving their national target of net zero emissions by 2045. The Swedish Climate Policy Council and Environmental Protection Agency states that their current policies are insufficient. They're also struggling with adapting to the increase in weather-related disasters, as their infrastructure requires major investments. These weather changes have led to increased flooding, droughts that have affected agriculture, and urban areas are also experiencing more heat waves. In addition to this, Sweden's forests were a crucial part of their climate strategy. However, increased clear-cutting, droughts, and ecosystem degradation has affected the capacity of carbon absorption from these forests. The data below focuses on the difference between the US and Sweden's average decadal surface temperature. Looking at the graph, we can see that the United States temperature increased by 0.4 degrees Celsius in 2010. While Sweden's temperature increased less than this, we can see an increase in temperatures starting in the 90s. Temperatures in Sweden in the 40s through the 80s were much lower than today's average. The 2000s and 2010s were warmer than the 1991 to 2020 baseline. This chart shows a long-term warming trend in Sweden due to recent decades being at or above average temperatures. Warming temps can lead to increased droughts and flooding and changes in ecosystems and agriculture. Here's the XMind brainstorm map I used to narrow down solutions to Sweden's three core issues with SDG 13. Here are some solutions to Sweden's SDG 13 goal. Sweden is working toward achieving net zero emissions by 2045, but their current progress may not be enough to meet this goal. The use of smart grids and transportation systems can help them achieve this goal. Smart grids use digital technologies to balance electricity demand and make renewable energy sources like wind and solar more efficient. Smart transportation systems can optimize traffic flow, support electric vehicle charging networks, and reduce fuel consumption. Together, these tools can significantly lower greenhouse gas emissions and help Sweden move closer to their net zero target goal. One way Sweden can use GIT to solve their issues with climate adaptation is through IoT sensors and AI predictive analytics. IoT sensors can monitor weather conditions, river levels, and soil moisture, helping communities detect climate risks early. AI can then analyze this data to predict floods, droughts, and wildfires before they occur. Sweden's forests are important carbon sinks because they absorb carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. However, their carbon absorption capacity has been declining. GIT can help address this issue through satellite imagery, drones, and AI management systems. Satellites and drones can monitor forest health, detect disease outbreaks, and identify areas affected by drought or excessive clear-cutting. AI can then analyze this information and help forestry managers make better decisions that maximize carbon storage while maintaining healthy forests. Thank you for listening to my presentation on SDG 13 in Sweden.